2018 Ford F-150 with a 3.5 liter misfire condition. You can't really tell in this video, but this is definitely shaking. It definitely has a misfire. So the first thing I'm going to do is just scan it for codes. And sure enough, it's got a misfire on cylinder 1. So if you don't know, P0300 is just a misfire in general. 301 would be cylinder 1, 302 is cylinder 2, so on and so forth, all the way up to cylinder 8 or whatever. So now that we know it's just cylinder 1, we're just going to go back out underneath the hood. And then on this 3.5, it's always good to look up the actual firing order. But on this 3.5, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the first thing that we're going to test is the actual coils themselves. And all I'm going to do is take cylinder 1 coil and swap it with cylinder 2. And if that misfire jumps from cylinder 1 to cylinder 2 on the scanner, then I know that the coil is bad. And to swap coils on this is super easy. It's just this little 8mm bolt here. You're going to take that out. Then you're going to pull back on this plastic piece and then push down to unplug the coil. And then just pull up and out. And then set that one to the side. Next, we're going to do the same thing on the cylinder 2 coil. So again, 8mm, undo the connector. But on this one, I'm going to go straight out of cylinder 2 and straight back into cylinder 1 and line up the bolt with the hole. Make sure I push it all the way down, put your bolt back in and tighten it up, connect to the connector. Once that's done, we're just going to grab the other coil and put it back in cylinder 2, line up the bolt hole like before, push it all the way down, and then tighten up the bolt and reconnect it. Then we'll go back into the cab to look at the scan tool. Then I went ahead and cleared all the codes. Then once they're cleared, I went ahead and started again, verified that it still has a misfire. And it might not throw a code right away, so we're just going to go down to engine and then data display, and then we're going to go down to misfire data. Now this is going to show you which cylinders are misfiring and how many times they're misfiring. So right now you can see cylinder 2 has a misfire, so that's the one that we just switched. It was cylinder 1, now it's cylinder 2, and you can see it's counting how many times it's misfiring. So that means we have a bad coil. Now, I could have looked at this screen before I went out and swapped the coils. However, because it was just a misfire on cylinder 1, I knew where the problem was. So I just switched 1 with 2 and came back and then checked this. But if you have multiple misfires, then definitely come into this screen because it's going to show you all the cylinders are actually firing or misfiring in real time. So if all the cylinders on one bank, like 1, 2, and 3 in this case, were all misfiring, then we'd probably have a different issue other than the coil. But since it was just one cylinder misfiring and I swapped the coil from one to the other and it followed it to cylinder 2, I know that the coil is bad. So now there's nothing left to do but to replace that coil on cylinder 2.